Alright, so the fourth book that I picked is Loser by Jerry Spinelli. This book follows Donald Zinkoff through first grade to sixth grade and kind of shows how he's a little bit different from other students. He doesn't do very well in school, he's not good at sports, he doesn't really know how to talk to other students. He tries his best, but a lot of the students don't give him the time of day, and it kind of talks about how up until fourth grade, nobody really cares. He just is who he is. But in fourth grade is when all the students start making fun of him, and although Donald is different from the students in the way that he is successful, he has the biggest heart in the world, and he's not afraid to show that he still tries to get compassion and understanding and really tries to be friends with everyone. And it's kind of a sad book in the sense that all these kids make fun of him, but it's a really good story to talk about individuality and how character development, character growth, how we as people grow from year to year, and how the things you say can really affect others even if you don't realize it. So the main character is Donald Zinkoff. He's the book who is the center of the entire story. He's actually the narrator of the story, which I think is really cool because it gives the perspective of having someone who is in first grade, then second, and all the way up to sixth, kind of narrating, and you see the differences in his language development and all of that, which is, as a teacher, is really, really cool. My favorite quote from the book is, "At this time in his life, Zinkoff sees no difference between the stars in the sky and the stars in his mother's plastic baggie. He believes that stars fall from the sky sometimes, and that his mother goes around collecting them like acorns. He believes she has to use heavy gloves and dark sunglasses because the fallen stars are so hot and shiny. She puts them in the freezer for 45 minutes, and when they come out, they are flat and silver and sticky on the back and ready for his shirts." I really like this quote because I think it shows the innocence that Donald has, and it shows that creativity that oftentimes is pushed down in children, and kind of we need to bring that out. We need to show them that, yes, they are so cool, and their creativity is part of what makes them an individual. I also like this quote because I think it's easy for the students to relate to because everyone views things differently. So, there might be a student in the class who believes that that's how stars came, and that parents go up and reach them every night and put them on their kids' clothes to show them, they become stickers, to show like, hey, you did something really great. I'm going to put this on you. I got this star for this guy. Let's put it on you. I chose to read this book because I've read other Jerry Spinelli books, and I had never heard of this one, and I instantly read the back cover and just thought, you know what, this is something that I want to read. I think this will be really, really cool to have in a classroom. It takes us through Donald's life, which is really interesting for me because I like to see the character development like I talked about before. I think that this book should be in a future classroom of mine or other teachers because students can relate to it better because it is from Donald's point of view. It is from the point of view of someone who a fifth grader might be reading it and really resonate with what he's saying because they are able to say, this is happening to me, this is how I talk, this is how my friends talk, this is what I view in the neighborhood. I recommend this book from ages 3rd to 7th grade. I think that in third grade, fourth grade, you can do it as a read aloud. Fifth grade, sixth grade is when students can really delve into it. And seventh grade, independent reading. It all depends on the students you have in your classroom. I don't think it hurts to have it in the classroom. If a child sees a chapter book like this one and they want to read it, why stop them if they feel, they can develop their reading skills and understanding of a text through this book, then go ahead and go for it because this book is really fantastic and it opens up the view of individuality from one person's point of view. And Donald throughout the book he befriends people who are older than him, which is very interesting to me because I feel like a lot of younger students are not afraid, but they don't really have friends that are grown-ups, and Donald's only friends are grown-ups because he goes on the mail route with his father who's a mailman, and he forms these bonds with these people, and these people show him love and compassion in a way that he's never felt before because all of his classmates don't want to be his friend. I would give this book a 4 out of 5. I really like the storyline and how it was represented. I enjoy that it didn't shy away from topics that were covered. So in that sense, I think it can be kind of difficult, and there are going to be hard topics to talk about in the younger grades, but it's a great example of direct bullying and showing students, this is what's okay in the classroom, this is what's not okay in the classroom. Some discussion prompts that I think come from this book are, which character did you relate to the most and why? This really opens up the individuality because not every student is going to pick the same character, and it gives the teachers a chance to understand students, and they may talk about something that we had no idea they were going through. In what ways did you view Donald throughout the book? So again, going back to that character development, going back and seeing, this is how I viewed him in first grade and this is how I view him at the end of the book. What was the hardest part of the book for you to read and why? This can bring up anything from I just wasn't interested in this topic, or this is something that really hits home for me, so it was kind of hard for me to get through. Have you ever witnessed a student being treated how Donald is being treated, and did you do something about it? Why or why not? This is kind of a great way to bring up that discussion about bullying and talking about how every student feels differently and how the little things we can say can affect them, and how being an individual is something that needs to be celebrated, not pushed down. And lastly, what do you think it means to be a best friend? That's a topic often talked about in the book because Donald doesn't have a best friend who is his age, and so it's kind of interesting to see, my mom could be my best friend, or a girl who's 2 years younger than me could be my best friend. So kind of bringing in that whole individuality